Coming today. It's great to see all of you. I'm Carly West, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the 2024 supply chain technology trends. Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Let me say that again. Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. How many of you can think of a time in your career where you or your company didn't take an opportunity? There are companies out there that did nothing, and they cease to exist today. They made a deliberate choice not to take advantage of the opportunity in front of them. They chose to ignore technology trends that were transforming and moving their industries forward. Think of companies like Blockbuster, Sears, Borders, Toys R Us. They made a choice. You can say yes, or you can say no. No is an answer. Those companies did make the choice to say no and not take advantage of the trends. But you don't have to. You can say yes. And now is the time. In fact, there's not been a time in recent history where there's been so much interest in prioritization and technology initiatives. Over half of the board of directors members surveyed recently indicated that their top strategic business priority is digital technology initiatives. Even more, almost 80% of CEOs plan to increase their investment in digital capabilities this year. And even more still, over 80% of you here in this room, according to our most recent supply chain user wants and needs study, 82% of respondents believe that their organizations will increase their investment in supply chain technology over the next 2 years. That's 4 out of 5 of you here in this room today. That's a huge percentage of respondents, and it's all aligning right now. You've never had this level of backing. Everyone's been talking about technology for a long time and either not really doing anything or not doing enough. It's clear technology is important to driving your supply chains and your businesses forward. You have an unparalleled support of your boards and your C-suites. You're at such a significant point of opportunity. You can finally do what you've been wanting to do for years. You can see here how the supply chain technology trends we're going to discuss today are currently positioned on Gartner Hype Cycle. For those of you here in the room that aren't familiar with what a Gartner Hype Cycle is, no worries, let me break it down really quickly. Gartner Hype Cycles are a graphical representation of the maturity, relevancy, and adoption rate of emerging and mainstream innovations. The Hype Cycle helps organizations avoid common traps and anticipate opportunities when adopting innovations. This is actually a demonstration of multiple Gartner Hype Cycles merged together so that I could show you the trends we're going to talk about today in one graphical view. As you can see, these trends are progressing quickly. The icon shapes represent the time to plateau, and most of the trends we're going to talk about today are expected to hit maturity within 5 to 10 years or sooner. 5 of the 8, or 63% for those math nerds, are 2 to 5 years from maturity. So if they're not on your radar, you're at risk of being behind. 5 years is a blip. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel in 5 years. 5 years is nothing when you think about gaining approval, selecting a vendor, testing, implementing. Think about your last ERP implementation, right? Okay, so now that we're all clear that the time is now, we've got unparalleled support and technology's advancing quickly, let's get into the top trends in supply chain technology this year. According to the Gartner User Wants and Needs study, the top 3 goals driving investment in emerging or new technology can be summarized into these 3. Pursuing new business models or gaining competitive advantages, driving efficiency and productivity, and improving decision-making, resiliency, and agility. I've grouped the 8 technologies into these 3 driving goals, but please do understand they're all interrelated, and one individual trend might actually drive more than one of these or all of these goals, among others. I'm going to explain each trend, what the opportunity is, and give you a real example. Then I'm going to help you start to think about how you can prioritize them to advance your digital maturities in your businesses when you leave Symposium and go back to your offices. Okay, we're all a little excited about the opportunity, right? This is our chance to sink some shots instead of missing the basket. We've got less than 25 minutes remaining together today and a lot of trends to talk about, so let's lace up and go hit that fast break to find your technology sweet spot. First up, trends to help pursue new business models and competitive advantage. Machine customers are non-human economic actors that obtain goods or services in exchange for payment. Examples include IoT-connected devices or assets that place orders independent of human command, intelligent replenishment algorithms that maintain availability of consumables, and intelligent assistants that suggest deals to consumers. According to the 2022 CEO and Senior Business Executive Survey, responding CEOs believe that on average 15 to 20% of revenue will come from machine customers by 2030, and by 2028 there'll be 15 billion connected products. The continued acceleration of machine customer ordering will require new supply chain operating models. You must be able to respond to this new demand channel where automated buyers will transact at greater speeds, issuing lower volume transactions at a more frequent speed than its human predecessors. We expect demand forecasting will be more reliable and predictable because it'll be fully based on algorithmic purchasing decisions. However, machine customers will also be able to quickly find alternative products that are either easier to purchase or delivered more reliably. Digitally transforming the supply chain operating model and integrating the ecosystems of partners will be the key to responding to machine customer demand. One quick example most of you have probably already heard of comes from HP with HP Instant Ink, where connected printers are enabled to automatically order new supplies when their ink is running low. There's many other examples where maybe you have auto subscriptions when supplies are running low in your home and it's auto-ordered, or even on your shelves at your businesses. Sustainable supply chains seek to balance delivering business value while maintaining or minimizing negative impacts on the environment and respecting the human rights of all involved in the process. This can actually come from within your own span of control or by leveraging technology of your up or downstream partners within your supply chain. Sustainability is moving away from an afterthought and more as a part of the decision or the operations. We see most of these technologies you see here actually working to build sustainability data into the operating and decision-making process. Now, in some instances, the vendors are a bit ahead of consumers as they're building these solutions a bit more than the end consumers are demanding them. However, we know that as end users, we want capabilities built within the technologies we're already using, so it makes sense to be ahead of that plan. Likely not news to anyone here in this room, but supply chains account for 90% plus of GHG emissions, and most companies do have ambitious reductions targets. As more sustainability capabilities become integrated into supply chain solutions, efforts to achieve the sustainable objectives and targets can be integrated into that decision making. Think of integrating emissions directly into your TMS or your transportation solution to both measure and inform routing or even mode decisions, for example. Between 2014 and 2016, L'Oreal Group's sustainability, packaging, and research teams created an eco-friendly design tool called SPOT, or Sustainable Product Optimization Tool. It measures the environmental impact of the group's products and is based on a methodology devised with the help of international experts. They deployed it in 2017, and it's fully integrated into the design and launch process for new products, and it enables them to simulate different design options and evaluate their impact on both the environment and society, while also being able to identify and measure improvement. They can also quantify the reduction in impact made by a product and monitor its progress, several different areas of improvement, such as environmental footprint of the packaging and the formula. As a result, they actually ran 100% of products they introduced last year in 2023 using this spot tool. Up next are some trends to help drive efficiency and productivity. The augmented connected workforce uses AI and advanced analytics to extend workers' capability where normal human memory, attention, or focus would fatigue or become unreliable. It connects the digital and the physical world together through technologies such as applications, mobile devices, or wearables. It combines that with governance like knowledge curation, talent management, and org design, and learning and development. The top workforce concerns for CEOs over the next 3 years include 3 related to technology, 2 related to generational issues, and 4 related to workforce issues. The augmented connected workforce actually helps address the top 9 of 14 of your CEO's top workforce concerns over the next 3 years. The connected workforce can scale a good employee experience or make it worse depending on how you use it. It also helps you to deal with the higher than average turnover through this knowledge transfer enablement, which helps to address the labor shortage challenges we're all experiencing today. One example comes from Merck. Merck has a dedicated program that's extended reality designed to maximize the use of employee time. Frontline workers actually champion use cases across knowledge transfer, talent management, testing, and training. Each manufacturing site is provided with templates to guide deployment and change management. As a result, 70% of subject matter expert time was actually reallocated from non-value add work, and the average time of bringing an employee up to speed was reduced by 2 weeks. Humanoid robots typically imitate the human body, with a head with sensors and cameras for sensing its environment, a body for housing the power and mechanicals, arms and hands for grasping and manipulating, carrying items, and legs for dynamic locomotion. The next generation of humanoid robots will combine sensory awareness with mobile manipulation and dynamic locomotion to perform productive work that was typically relegated to biological humans. The goal is trying to get as close as possible to the flexibility and adaptability of humans. So what you might think about would be a robot that could do one task in the morning and switch to another task in the afternoon without having to write any code. Today, robots are flexible, but only in the confines of what they were designed to do. No real transformers quite yet. The humanoid form could get us closer to the fact of a robot being able to do multiple things at one time. Again, according to the Gartner Supply Chain User Wants and Needs study, more than 50% of those surveyed believe that robots are disruptive and important to their business. There's basically 2 key values. First, based on the human-like locomotion of walking and not rolling, the robots are able to go places that they previously couldn't, like upstairs. And the second piece, again, is that mobile manipulation form. Significant flexibility is added to the robots, where they're able to actually manipulate things like picking up and moving rather than the previous way of just pick, rotate, place. We mostly see these use cases developing within the 4 walls where robots can replace human activities like lifting, picking, packing, etc. Saddle Creek Logistics deployed mobile robots at one of their fulfillment operations in Texas. How it works is the WMS feeds orders to the OMS, and the robots actually go out carrying empty bins, and they have picking instructions on the iPad on their display. The associates can then pick and scan and place the items in the bins, and then once the bins are full, they're dispatched to the pack-out locations. The robots have significantly reduced the amount of time the associates spend walking around the warehouse, so they're actually able to just focus on picking. In the first year alone, Saddle Creek Logistics was able to accommodate 3 times the order volume as the previous year without adding any additional associates. So that's obviously another huge advantage when we have this tight labor market. AI-enabled vision systems combine computer vision with AI pattern recognition to identify problems, safety issues, and deviations in real time. Again, according to the most recent User Wants and Needs study, 20% of respondents said they've already adopted AI-enabled vision systems, and nearly 50% say they're highly disruptive. So while not fully explored yet, at least a lot of you are starting to think about it. Combining the vision systems with AI first adds context to the images and then allows for very sophisticated analysis of the data that's captured. This could be as simple as counting inventory, capturing data from unstructured assets, monitoring moving assets or people, and using the intelligence to assess where conformance to policies or procedures has been breached. A simple example most of us have in our home, cameras on the outside of a building to watch for perimeter breaches. Previously, you would get an alert, a person would have to sit down and watch the video, where using the AI, you could automatically be told, well, that was a deer and not a human breaching the perimeter. A more sophisticated example comes from PFS, who's an e-commerce fulfillment provider. They've actually integrated self-flying drones in their warehouses to automate inventory tracking. They run the drones and it scans the inventory from the ground all the way up to the ceiling and captures pretty highly deliverable accuracy on the inventory status and delivers those details to the WMS. We all know manual inventory counting is a painful, labor-intensive, time-consuming, costly process. So again, tough labor market, this provides additional value. PFS actually runs the drones in off hours when the warehouse isn't as busy with associates, but they can run it if there's a breach detected or an inaccuracy detected. They can run it during breaks to get a validity check. The value, again, here is in both the labor and the speed. Their team members are able to approximately scan 400 labels per hour, where the drones are able to do 1,500 labels per hour. Finally, let's talk about some trends helping drive improvement in decision-making, resiliency, and agility. AI's everywhere, right? I'm sure 90% of you have some type of AI objective at your organization right now. The key here is don't focus, or over-focus, on the probabilistic, machine learning, deep learning aspects of AI, because it comes with deficiencies and limitations. This can cause you a much slower time to value because it often ignores the human knowledge, so it'll be a longer transition phase where the machine is not able to make as accurate of decisions as its human predecessor. There's also limited transparency. When you try to optimize AI-related technology to support a decision, you don't understand where the recommendations are coming from. This creates a lack of trust. So then you end up with a lack of consistency between the human and the machine, and you have to try to root cause what's causing that inefficiency or discrepancy. It's a black box, though, by design, so you're not able to root cause it, which then leaves you with a lack of trust and an inability to find out what's causing the issue. Introducing Composite AI actually helps eliminate this because you have more control and guidance to the process and a more explainable AI outcome. This is because it's the combination or the intersection of the human with machine, the machine with human rules and logic. More than half of you feel AI is disruptive over the next decade. Again, no surprise, right? We literally hear about it every single day. The key, again, is not to focus on AI just as machine learning or probabilistic techniques. Gen AI is an example here. You need to focus more on the composite AI of the future, where we can achieve AI outcomes that come to understand more context and reason. Otherwise, you lack the context, any definition of right and wrong, or ethics. And it doesn't often understand your use case even. An example of composite AI comes from Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods deployed a technology to integrate their S&OE and S&OP processes. They used a model that determines the optimal location and allocation of inventories to trucks and distribution centers and automatically feeds it to their ERP systems using what's called ontology webhooks, which is basically the link of human insight with programmable controls, enabling the people to compute the part of the business that matters. The autonomous planning and execution module is reported to have saved the organization close to $100 million in 6 months alone. Okay, again, I know we're all talking about AI, but hear me when I say you cannot do it without sound data. Supply chain data governance includes the process, roles, and policies, and the standards and metrics that ensure effective and efficient use of data and analytics in enabling your organization to achieve its goals. In the past, data governance and data quality was driven by the need to use it within your specific functions. Now, the need and use for cross-functional data has increased dramatically. In turn, this has increased the gap from the data source or the function to the data user or the cross-function. The traditional way of looking at data cleansing doesn't work anymore because it's not locally owned. Data quality governance drives output value. As we get to more automation of decisions, the machines making the decisions are only going to be as good as the information that's available to them. As data-driven technologies such as machine learning, AI, conversational systems, advanced analytics, big data continue to rank highly important among supply chain experts, the importance of maintaining a high level of data quality is becoming mission critical. In just a few years, half of you will have revisited your data governance strategy, and we expect that number just to continue to tick upwards. An example of data governance in practice comes from Castrol. Their issue was a multitude of data sources, non-conforming data and reporting, tedious, repetitive manual efforts to prepare data for digital initiatives and reports. What'd they do? They established a harmonized data model based on the local or regional ERPs and aligned it to the physical data model in the global data lake. They introduced the global data model to the local ERPs, enabling a global data quality output management strategy. They enabled seamless data lineage for automated data normalization between that global corporate environment and the regional or local entities. Their results, data quality increased. They gained the ability to shape and scale introduction of new technologies globally on demand, and they had more than a 90% human reduction in engaging in the data in order to transition between global and local entities. Cyber extortion has been going on a long time. In and of itself, it's not really a trend, but there's certainly a trend in upward frequency and impact of these events. Everyone knows what ransomware is. We all get a notification where some company who had our information has been hacked and our information's on the black web. It's not just relevant for you, though. It's also relevant for your business partners and then your supply chain because of that. Again, I know it's not new or news, but it's not going away, so we've got to pay attention to it. The impact can actually be crippling. Over 66% of businesses affected or have been effective, and 84% of those who have suffered a significant revenue loss. The average is for $5 billion in revenue, the cost for recovery is around $5 million. I mean, that's not nothing, right? That's not pocket change. So what you've got to do is have a plan. First, you need to make a playbook. Second, the experts recommend hiring on retainer, ransomware attorneys or negotiators. Make sure you've got backups, and then test everything, your playbook, your backups. If you don't test the plan will fail. HPE actually launched HPE's Trusted Supply Chain Initiative to bring together their global supply chain operations and secure supply chain features. This initiative has the following cornerstones to enable security into their product lifecycle. They have a common foundation of risk management practices, controls, and assurance activities that are applied throughout the supply chain. They have a secure software development framework that covers a range of factors, including transfers of information, permissions, and security protocols. And they have products assembled in secure manufacturing facilities with vetted employees and advanced factory-hardened product security features. The provision of security anchors for its zero-trust-enabled architecture allows them to assure the integrity of the operating environment. This has proven to be a key differentiator for HPE. Okay, that was it. I'm out of breath. I don't know about you guys. I'm super unathletic. We covered 8 trends today, what they are, and some examples. Remember, these don't have a one-to-one relationship, so each trend you see here could actually enable multiple goals, multiple of these among other goals too. Okay, great. So we talked about these trends. What does that mean to you? What are you supposed to do with this information? What should you do when you leave here today and go back to your offices? Remember I showed you that hype cycle at the beginning? Now you can actually see where each of the trends we've talked about falls and actually the goals that they're driving towards on the timeline as well. This can help you to consider where you might prioritize or plot the different technologies or innovations compared to your appetite for risk and the value that your company will receive from it. What you should think about is your organization's maturity in technology initiatives mixed with your risk appetite. Depending on your desire to be a fast mover, a proven leader, a follower, somewhere in between, while balancing the goals and objectives you're striving for. Leading organizations strive for a balance between a focus on foundational capabilities with the pursuit of innovation. Also, take into consideration what leaders are doing. Take some key lessons from the examples that we talked through today. Remember, if you want to pursue new business models or gain a competitive advantage, you do need to be willing to put in the work yourselves. When you're trying to drive efficiency and productivity, the intersection of humans and technology will be critical. And to improve your decision-making, agility, and resiliency, you've got to first focus on the data quality. The risk of waiting and doing nothing is greater than the risk of innovating. Too fast is too much, but too slow is too little. Everyone's doing it. You don't have a choice. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Think of this as a map to help you explore and prioritize what might work for you. Map, plot, and prioritize the trends we talked about based on the goals that you're trying to achieve and the risk that you're willing to incur. We're not all Steph Curry. You know I'm not. We're not going to make all of these high-risk shots. But you can definitely find your sweet spot at the foul line or the top of the key for a 3. Be methodical about how you're going to prioritize the right technology and trends. Play in the space where your risk is low to medium and your value is medium to high. That's going to be your sweet spot. To make this a little bit more tangible for you, there's a slide in the appendix that you can download on Conference Navigator that you can take back to your offices when you leave here today, and you can take the time to plot the trends we talked about based on your goals and priorities and the values that you think you would derive versus that risk that you think you would incur. And that will help you to find which of the trends we talked about land within your technology sweet spot. The time is now. The trends will be reaching maturity within the next 5 to 10 years. It's extremely rare to see the boards, the CEOs, and the CSCOs all aligning and agreeing that technology initiatives are the top priority for the next couple of years. Again, according to the 2024 Gartner Board of Directors survey on driving business success in an uncertain world, the #1 business priority for this year and next are digital technology initiatives. Don't miss the opportunity. Okay, I know we covered a lot of ground today. I just want to thank you all for sticking with me, being a part of my team. I feel like we just played the Olympic gold medal basketball game. Thanks for sticking with me to the last buzzer. Please enjoy the rest of Supply Chain Symposium and safe travels home.